the human is going to set up a counter expansion as well. And I find this really, really cool. Like, I mean, I never even thought to do this, which is like, I don't know, maybe it seems like you never thought to make a second expansion, but I don't know, if you're going to have as much lumber as you're going to have from a shredder, which is going to be several thousand over a period of time, it's going to be very nice, then if you're going to have, if you're going to have as much lumber as that, why not put it to use? You can set up another expansion pretty much scot-free as long as you build enough towers. And that's basically how it works. As long as you build enough towers, nothing really bad's going to happen to you. I mean, obviously there's a limit to the amount of towers you want to be making, but you definitely need to there's a limit to how many towers you're going to be making, but if you have towers, then elves, generally speaking, not going to be able to do that much to you anyway. Okay, so as you can see, Panda pretty much rapes, brought all these footmen down to way low HP, and is now level 4, which is quite the pain, but Nilk is going to be able to fight off this little harasser, and you'll see how. Generally speaking, this is the part of the game where I'm like, oh crap, GG, my LQQ, but hey, Nilk's the gosu, he stays in it, he knows his shit. Sase exploiting the absence of Nilk at his towers to, like, keep them safe. He just basically runs around and cancels all these towers as they're being constructed, and basically kills all these peasants with breath of fire, and it's pretty deadly and pretty lame, but that's kind of the way it goes. Nilk is going to lose his expansion here, and I think he's going to be able to cancel it. Or he doesn't lose it. Wahaha. Okay, so he keeps it up, and he's gonna call more militia, or not call, rather, walk them over. Excuse me, because it's going to be faster than calling militia. I think that's important to know. Just don't always call militia to your expo. It's a habit of mine. Sometimes I'll like be waiting for like a minute and a half. Like, man, these here peasants should put down their guns and axes and such now. Okay, so Nilk is doing pretty well. Like, I mean, he's gonna get his expo canceled right here. This is what I was thinking of. I just watched the replay a few minutes ago. So he gets his expo canceled right here. But I mean, it's not that big of a deal. He does have a full up and running expo, and if he needs to, I'm pretty sure he can. If Nilk needs to, I'm pretty sure that he's gonna be able to survive any of this going on, because he did tower his other 2 bases, so it's not too big of a deal. And Sase is simply massing dryads at tier 2 to avoid this expansion going up in the current. However, the interesting thing about this is, with bears so late, he's not going to be able to take the win so fast, because dryads versus towers is sort of a joke. It's heavy armor, and it's masonry level 2 right now, so piercing basically not going to do jack. Okay, so I mean, Nilk did get a couple guard towers up, and while, I mean, it works that he got those guard towers up, it's not really too influential. All those dryads can pretty easily take down all those towers. And Nilk gonna lose his MK here, kind of a shame, but level 1 MK does die often, especially to units like dryads, because the MK doesn't have a fast movement speed. I would recommend Nilk to have switched his boots over to his MK, which is a habit I have. Generally speaking, I always put boots in the MK. Makes it a lot easier to keep him alive, especially considering his level 1 melee hero versus like dryads. Yeah, it can become a pain pretty quickly. Okay, so as you can see, the Panda's just sort of playing the I'm a bitch game, and he runs in, breath of fires the towers down, runs away, and just trying to lower the towers so he's not going to lose or get any too badly injured dryads in the process of taking out the remaining towers of this expansion. Because if he leaves these towers up and just goes to creep, Nilk going to have a very, very easy time of, he's going to have a very easy time of just, re-expanding and having basically no difficulty getting this expansion up. So it's almost required that Sase does this. Okay, so here's a cool thing Nilk does. He gets some sappers to apply pressure to Sase's expansion, and once he does that, he runs away, and he's going to start up his own expansion again, or like rather distract Sase. See, he'll start up his own expansion again with the Zeppelin and his peasants, which is, I thought, pretty cool. Like, I guess if, I mean, Sase bought a TP, so it wasn't too big of a deal. But I guess the big mistake like so far Nilk's making is, I don't know, with a tier 3 strat like this and trying to do a tier 2 expo, it is a bit ballsy. I mean, what if you think about it, what's really going to happen here? He's going to try and get up this expansion, and right now I guarantee you, if Sase would have killed all those towers and totally raped that expo with like no chance of recovery, I guarantee you Nilk wouldn't have been able to get it back up. It just would have been impossible. So again, it's a bit of luck by Nilk and a bit of skill that he was able to get that expansion up so easily. This is what I find interesting, tactic that Sase is doing, because he has a Panda, and it has like not a low mana pool, but it doesn't have the world's best mana pool. And being that it's a strength hero, it gets focused pretty easily by everything in the game. It's on the front lines most of the time. He builds a shop right outside Nilknarf's base, simply because he's going to be able to, with the shop right outside his base, he's going to be able to just get mana potions and health potions as he sees fit. Okay, so the expansion goes down, and by now Nilknarf's strategy is sort of revealed here. He is going griffins and mortars, which is sort of an interesting counter to Bear Dryad. In Theorycraft it works. Armor damage type, you basically got it. You got everything covered. And basically you just keep your mortar and griffin mix based on the units of the elf player. So again, it's pretty cool how Nilknarf has sort of this theory crafting strategy. I've seen it before, and I've done it before, and I don't know, my friend was like, oh man, that's so 4v4 AT style, and I'm like, no, that's gosu style, what are you talking about? But anyway, as you can see, even a few mortar rounds focusing down on these dryads, it does do quite a bit of damage. So Sase basically isn't going to be able to crack the base defense of Nilk anytime soon. Frag shards, basically, if he shot like, okay, where the dryads are now, like the entire size of Sase's army right now is like the range of frag shards. It is ridiculous. Frag shards are easily one of the best human upgrades in the game. They're so helpful if you're going to be going tier 3. You basically have to get them if you're going mortars if you want to win. And now Nilknarf he's pretty well off, and he's basically ready to have a little fight with Sase. I think he just wants maybe one more griffin, or just have a bit more, because he's not too worried that Sase is going to be able to do too much of anything. Okay, so Nilk recognizing this is a pretty awful position to be in. Even though he's right by his base, he does TP, and I think that was a pretty good call. Like, when you think about it, okay, I can either fight all or nothing now with 2 griffins that'll get focused down in like 0.5 seconds by a bunch of dryads, or I can wait it out a bit and just sort of take it easy and like get a slightly larger army. So the first thing he does is, I mean, that was one wave of mortar fire. Look at those dryads. They're all red HP. And while he is being forced back simply because he doesn't have a front line, he's basically forcing Sase to fight in his towers, and Sase's army is not a low HP army, but it's all rather hurt. And with all these mortars firing, boom, 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 like 2 more dryads down, and 2 dryads in red HP, 2 more dryads dead. So as you can see, that was the work of 4 mortars with frag shards, and it was pretty much ridiculous how much damage it did. There's no doubt that the versatility of mortars, and I think nothing demonstrates it better than right there.